Welcome to the P list. The P list. The P list. All right. Top 10 promotions in the state of Georgia as of the beginning of 2020. There's a couple things about this list people are not going to be happy about by and large, I think, but oh well, it's my list. You know how that goes. Why am I doing this list? I said I was going to do it, but this showed up in my P.O. box today. Geek Fuel. When I see this backwards on the screen, I thought, F you, and then I saw K. Don't worry about it. Geek Fuel. Nobody's taken credit for sending this to me yet. I think I know who it is, but whatever. Maybe there's a note inside. Ready to open it? I am. I assume this is one of those. Wow, cool is that? Crazy stuff on the inside of the box. Look at that. It's one of these things where it's just like a smattering of like geeky stuff that they randomly throw in here. The cynical would say that get thrown in here based on what they have an overstock of. Like I give a shit. I just can't wait to see what's in here. Only available at Geek Fuel Marvel Comics. Canvas Collection. Silver Age Edition. Elena, you want to see what's in this crazy box? Okay. So look, there's this canvas hanging of the first appearance of Spider-Man.
Whoa, that's so cool.
Dude, okay, that alone, this box is worth it. But
what?
Oh,
There's
no.
so much stuff in that box.
Oh boy, I already know these are not mine because I know who's going to want to take them. Space Invader socks. Go ahead. She loves the crazy socks, y'all.
Yes.
She loves the crazy socks. A Rick and Morty air freshener to go with my dope Rick and Morty shirt. Awesome. Dude. Oh my gosh.
Veronica, come in here.
Darn
come
it.
In here.
So Veronica, I just put her to bed, but no, Elena's right. We got to wake her up. Come over here.
Squid alive.
Veronica's favorite superhero type is Deadpool. And
yes!
This is, what is it, Veronica?
Unicorn. Gwen.
Unicorn selfie. He's taking a selfie with the unicorn, and these are
yes!
Yes! That's for you. Yes! Now, calm yourself down and go to bed. Good luck with that. But that's for you. Here, hold, take. Ooh. Bobblehead Predator.
Makes something so terrifying. You seem so.
Call me Chris Hansen, because I'm catching this predator. Oh, it's a joke that hopefully you don't understand. Okay. Golly. I'm going to get to the t-shirt last. Epistory Typing Chronicles. What? Downloadable Steam game.
Ooh, Steam. You ride a giant fox.
Okay. Epistory immerses you in an atmospheric action-adventure game where you play a girl riding a giant fox who fights the insectile corruption from an origami world. As you progress and explore this world, the story literally unfolds and the mystery and magic power of the worlds are revealed. I guess Steam, meaning we can download this to what? The Xbox or the PlayStation?
Yeah.
Sounds good to me, bro. Yeah. All right. We'll do that. Super Shakers.
Pardon?
It looks like it's Mario and Luigi, mother. Ba-ding! All right.
Open.
I will open. Ooh.
It's
styrofoam.
It's
so white beautiful. Gold. The best part, they pay you by the pound. Oh, what movie is that from? If you know, I'm sad for you. Oh, it's Salt Shakers. It's a salt and pepper shaker, but it's Mario and Luigi.
Oh my gosh, we don't have a salt and pepper shaker.
I don't have a salt and pepper shaker at my place.
Now you
Well,
do.
now I do.
Yay! We finally have someone who can say so. And it's styrofoam.
Yay.
It's high quality.
It's a me, sodium. All
I
right.
like to pollute the earth, and the other
And
Monica's
last but
head.
not least, and then you guys are going to have to am spray because I got to get to this Plist. I'm already 5 minutes in, but that box
And
is
it's
so
dozens
cool.
of minutes past my bedtime.
Yes, go to your bed. Go to bed. Go to bed.
Wait, what's the last object?
Okay. I was afraid the shirt was not going to be awesome.
It's awesome. What is the shirt?
Dude.
Da 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 da.
Kid Arachnid. Yeah. Spider-Man shirt. Is it in my size too? That would be amazing. It is. It's in large. Done and done and done and done. But it's Florida hot, so I'm going to put this shirt on while the kids bother you for about 17 seconds.
Woo! Wait, we get to bother people.
I'm doing other things for the talent,
Okay,
so
for the past
come
2 days,
please.
Ina.
It's at Blackened School at the 2-hour bus ride away.
You do have a 2-hour bus ride. Shirt looks dope, and I look good. Oh, look at that! Today was Arms Day with the workout. Couldn't tell. All right, to bed. Good night. I love you. I love you. Do you like your Deadpool with unicorns?
Wait, Veronica, before you go to bed,
Right.
we have to do the ultimate sibling hug.
The ultimate sibling hug.
Pat. Perfect.
Okay, bye-bye. Good night.
Weirdos. Take your water, McGee.
Yeah, Veronica, take your sippy cup.
All right. Good night, Veronica and Elena. Say your final goodbye. Did you get what you? Oh yes, you got something.
Your final goodbye. I'm out.
Nice. All right. Top 10 promotions in the state of Georgia as of the beginning of 2020. Here's the thing, McGee's. Number 10 is going to be presented last because number 10 is the most controversial of all. And that way, some of the smaller promotions will have to wait with bated breath on whether they got picked or not. It's booking. Number 9, Peach State. They've gotten their crowds back up around over 100, well over 100. This was my first and foremost requirement for being in the top 10. If you do not average crowds of at least 100 on the regular, you couldn't make the top 10. That should make a couple of groups a little nervous, and a couple of groups go, "Ah, shit." But I had to be fair. And so I had to set some kind of minimal standard. And so my minimal standard, maybe I'll get to take those Space Invader socks home. Elena forgot them. But Peach State makes number 9. And something tells me when we check in again in a couple of months, I'm thinking actually maybe around April, around WrestleMania time, we'll check in again and see how the promotions are. Peach State will be a little higher. Who's Peach State competing with? In my eyes, number 8. Pro Wrestling Circuit. New on the scene. Big splash. They got the sponsors. They've got a lot of hype. They've got things going on. They've got the venue that they're in booked for a while. And it seems like they're beginning to add a little more steak to the sizzle. They've got sizzle for days. Are they going to continue to do well? Or are they going to get derailed? Right now, they've had trouble getting the crowds higher than they currently are, which is around the high 100s. Sometimes in the low 200s. I have a feeling that that's where they are, but we'll see if they can prove me wrong and get higher, or if they prove me wrong and go away entirely. But for now, I consider them the number 8 promotion in the state of Georgia. Number 7, a group that you could argue that was once number 1, WrestleMerica. They still get good-sized crowds around the 200 mark. They still do good stuff. However, they're a show that gets forgotten about a lot. In fact, I have to be completely honest, I forgot to have them in the top 10 at all at one point. And then just to double check myself, I went back and looked at Georgia Wrestling History Reports. Wait a minute, Steve. Does that mean you have to hand in your reports to Georgia Wrestling History to be considered? Yeah, dumb shits. Yeah. Because if you don't hand in your reports to Georgia Wrestling History, then there's a really good chance you're not going to be nominated or eligible for any of the Georgia Wrestling History Awards. And if you're not eligible and not really in contention for any of those, then how the fuck are you going to be one of the top 10 promotions in the state of Georgia? You're not. WrestleAmerica is number 7. And I consider that a very interesting fight that's going on. They would never say there's a fight going on, but there's a lot of crossover between these three groups, and I think that they're interesting and that they're all now ranked right next to each other. We'll see how that fight commences. Number 6 is Anarchy, which is on a big comeback. There was a time where they were in danger of not being able to meet one of the qualifications to even make this top 10, but now they clearly are. They've got their crowd in the mid 100s for a regular show and over 200 for their big shows. Great to see. Anarchy and Wildside for years were the standard promotion. Maybe they can get there again. I said welcome to B+, and I said welcome to A-, and then I said welcome to A. Yes, I think they're an A-level show. Definitely knocking on the door of it again. Am I saying that the 5 promotions, the top 5 that I'm going to name, are A promotions? Yes. But Anarchy is number 6. And something tells me they're planning on building on the momentum that they've gained at the end of the year. Remember, they were one of the top 2 or 3 promotions as far as momentum coming into the new year. We'll see how they capitalize on that. Number 5, AWE, Atlanta Wrestling Entertainment. Here's what's interesting to me when I look at AWE. I see their main competition, strangely, as the number 3 promotion. We'll see what that is in just a little bit. But AWE went from not even being able to qualify for this top 100 at the midpoint of last year. Keep in mind, their average crowd was like not great, 50 or less. But AWE, since it's come back, it's gotten bigger and bigger and bigger. And now they find themselves in the sort of the mid 100 categories, but with an incredibly passionate fan base and with booking clearly moving in the right direction forward. That's a main contributing factor. Yeah, AWE is number 5, and I have a feeling they're gunning for the top 3. Because that's what we're talking about. You really want to be in that top 3. Speaking of which, let's look at number 4. And this is a group that definitely wants to be in the top 3. But right now, I put them at 4, and it's Viral. Viral Pro Wrestling. They're making great inroads. The fact that they're in the discussion of the top groups in Georgia now is a big step. Next year, their goal, win awards. Next year, their goal, have a crowd that's consistently large. Now, they're well over 200, and for big shows, they get as high as 4. That's one factor and one reason that they're amongst the top. Now they're doing shows that are undeniably great. They're reaching out, and people are reaching out to them in turn. People go to their shows and review them. Now, they did about, was it 8 shows last year? We'll see how many that they pull off this year. Because in my mind, if you're not doing, on average, a show a month, it's really hard to consider you the top promotion. We'll see what inroads they make in that regard. But nonetheless, it's a well-run group whose crowd continues to expand. And anybody who they were rivals with have been buried in the dust. Bushido is nowhere close to Viral. It's not even worth discussing. In fact, I would argue that Viral's rivalry is with our number 2, potentially. Number 3, action wrestling. There are a lot of similarities between Action and Atlanta Wrestling Entertainment, especially with Action's affiliation with the Scenic City Tournament. In a lot of ways, a lot of similarities here. It's about work rate. It's about indie darlings. It's about getting a name outside of the Georgia area and getting the guys booked elsewhere. You can argue about who has more success doing it, right? But what you can't argue is AWE would love nothing more than to take Action's spot. And Action doesn't want to be on the outside looking in anymore. Their last crowd, now it was hurt because they had to move venues, but wah, like they've never had to move a venue before. That's just part of the wrestling game, frankly. But they drew 250, but they drew 150, which for them was a vast improvement to what it had been at the middle of the year. So while Action continues to grow, AWE appears to be growing at a more rapid rate. Is this the year where they pass them up? Crowd is a scoreboard, and it's an important factor in things. No way around that, as much as people try to deny it. Remember when a number of these groups try to deny that crowds mattered? Can we deny it any longer? I hope not, and I hope everybody sees that. Our number 2 group is Southern Fried. In a weird way, I see these two groups as rivals to one another. They are the interlopers and the outsiders, and they run a complete opposite show that these guys run. I'm not saying they both aren't booked well. I'm saying that their focus is different. They're interested in being Southern wrestling. They seem to have very little interest in that at all. Viral would love nothing more than to take their place. Imagine a world where Viral did take their place. Let's see how different. So what you have, let's look at these conflicts. Peach State versus Pro Wrestling Circuit versus Wrestle America. Anarchy fighting to get back into that top 5. Let's move things around. Let's say Viral's 2 by the end of the year. Atlanta Wrestling Entertainment is 3. Southern Fried is 4. And Action is 5. It's not hard to imagine any of these groups in any kind of order by the end of the year, is it? If I said Action, Viral, Atlanta Wrestling Entertainment, and Southern Fried by the end of the year, you'd go, okay. If I said number 2 was Action, number 3 was Viral, number 4 was Atlanta Wrestling Entertainment, number 5 was Southern Fried, that wouldn't shock you particularly either. I'm curious what these groups will do. I know what they generally have done in the past. This group pretends that they're not competing with anybody. They try to remain neutral and they try to remain Switzerland, and we get along with everybody, but secretly talk shit about all of them. That's the truth. This group thinks everybody's conspiring against them, while on the surface appearing to try to get along with everybody. This group has never made any bones about the fact that fuck, it's us against the world and everybody else rips us off and we're going to make them pay. Is this the year that they get to finally do it? And this group, they want fucking respect. And they're willing to dominate and do whatever it takes to get it. If that doesn't interest you, then you ain't been paying fucking attention. And to all the wrestlers and other people who are like, all the promoters have to do is work together. I would not want to see these 4 try to work together. Could you imagine what a mishwash fucking piece of shit promotion that would be? Save it. But maybe there is something that can unify most of, if not all of, the promotions in Georgia. But for now, I will take competition in trying to be the best, because it will bring out the best in all of them, and the weak will fall aside, and the strong will get stronger. All good things. Good things for the wrestlers, good things for the fans. Number 1, do I have to say it? I guess I do. Number 1 is Southern Honor. Make no mistake about it. All of these are trying to be this one. And I will be blunt and honest. I don't see anybody taking over their top spot. I don't see it. Is that me throwing a gauntlet down to action? Yeah. Southern Fried? Yeah. Viral? Yeah. Atlanta Wrestling Entertainment? Yeah. And perhaps if they can walk a tightrope, not make mistakes, could we see the return of prominence of Anarchy? It's certainly a much more interesting thing when Anarchy's near the top or at the top. Make no mistake about it, this is the group that everybody's gunning for. People were gunning for Southern Fried, and they took them down. Well, they really kind of took themselves down too, didn't they? But they came out in 2020 very hot with a crowd of 400. Southern Honors was bigger. AWE put on phenomenal show. I think show of the year was absolutely amazing. They did one just as good. They're gonna be really hard to catch. It's a lot harder to hold a title than to win it. That's true. And there's a lot of competition. That is also true. There's perhaps never been this much competition for groups that could potentially get the top spot by the end of the year. But Southern Honor, they've just got so many great things in place. That's our list, except for the fact that I didn't do number 10. I wanted to do number 10 because I thought these groups deserved more than just a cursory passing over. And there would be a danger of that happening, in spite of the fact that these groups tend to go in the high 100s, low 200s area, which is as impressive. Think about that. High 100s, low 200s every single time. That puts them above Peach State's crowd, typical. It puts them right at about where Pro Wrestling Circuit is, at number 8. It puts them right about where WrestleMerica is most of the time. It puts them right where Action is most of the time. It puts them right where Southern Fried is most of the time. It puts them right about where Viral is most of the time. It puts them actually above where Atlanta Wrestling Entertainment is. And it puts them above Anarchy. Anarchy gets on big shows, what these groups get almost on the regular. Only Southern Honor reigns above all of them, right? So who's number 10, Steve? Go ahead and fucking say it. Okay. Number 10 is GPW, which had a rocky 2019. Ups, downs, but now appears to have stabilized. But wait. Number 10 is also Southern Violence and Wrestling, and I can't believe I'm fucking saying it, but I'm saying it. Southern Violence and Wrestling consistently get in the high 100 to low 200s. And they've made the right moves. They've cut ties with the people that they should cut ties with. They're unapologetically different than everybody. That used to be AWE's title. We're the most different. Now I think it's these clowns. I say clowns like it's a derogatory thing. But it's certainly they're doing the interesting stuff. Not my cup of tea doesn't mean it's not a fucking cup of tea. So GPW, Southern Violence and Wrestling, these are tied for a Spinebuster. Valdosta, Georgia. Bunch of newbies running everything. 200 a show. They get their name out there. Now they're putting out video after video. I put these three groups at number 10 because I'm telling you this. Around WrestleMania, I'm going to do this list again. And when I do this list again, there ain't going to be no three-way motherfucking tie for 10. There's only going to be one number 10. So let me ask you, Southern Violence and Wrestling, are you still going to be on this top 10 list? GPW, you fought through so much. Are you going to be on this top 10 list? Spinebuster, are you going to be on this list? I've got 2 words to say to all 10 of these groups with everything that I've outlined. Ready?